I've had my say about the lame duck Democrats, so I've invited some Democrats to have their say about Republicans to be fair and balanced. In other words, sounds like it's time for me to take the hot seat. Two people with opposing views challenged me on the political hot seat, and my challengers today, former Hillary Clinton aide Jami Floyd and former Democratic congressional candidate from New York, Rashma Saujani. It's great to have both of you here. Jami, welcome back.
Great to be here, Governor.
Rashma, good to have you with us.
Thanks for having us, Governor.
Okay, Jami, I'm going to put the bat in your hands, and you get the first chance to swing it at me.
All right. Well, Governor, let's start with those unemployment numbers because we all heard them. We saw them on the front page. You just gave them to us. We're pushing 10% unemployment, and millions of unemployed Americans do not want to hear us point fingers. They don't want to see us pointing fingers and hear us play the blame game. But doesn't it suggest that perhaps President Obama's call to extend jobless benefits is the right thing to do at this time?
Well, Jami, I think the better thing to do is to say that no taxes will be increased on anybody and that we're not going to increase the cost for doing business, because that's why business owners are not hiring people, and they're not going to hire people until they know what it's going to cost them to do it. Now, let's talk about the extension of the unemployment benefits, because that's a fair question. My question is, 99 weeks is almost 2 years of unemployment benefits. Wouldn't it be better, if you're going to provide unemployment benefits, that we put some provision that people have to do something in order to get them, whether it's being crossing officers at the intersections or picking up trash? Do something in the form of a few hours of community service, or show that you're in training for a new job, rather than just say we're going to extend benefits indefinitely without having anything in return for that.
And we're talking about, so our viewers know, the 26 weeks that most states offer, and then the feds pick it up to a 99-week point. And for up to 2 million people by year's end, up to 2 million people are going to lose those benefits. Does the GOP really want to be the party of Scrooge at holiday time? Bah humbug, you're going to lose your benefits right at Christmas time. This is money people use to feed their families, money they use to pay their rent.
So, well, we're in an emergency situation, and I think that the Republicans have, pretty much said that we need to extend the benefits. What's happening right now is political grandstanding. Republicans don't want to give anything up before they get something, and we're putting the American public in the middle. And I think that, we want to see the kids play well together in the sandbox.
We really do, and I agree with you that I think both sides have shown sort of a lack of elasticity in all of this. But one of the problems that the Republicans have had is it's not that they're against the benefits. They are against not paying for them by taking it from somewhere else. They don't want to just continue to add to the deficit, which breaks one of Obama's promises and one of Nancy Pelosi's promises. She was the one who said, along with the president, that we will not add anything that isn't paid for within the budget.
Oh, Governor, come on now. We are arguing over, tax cuts for the rich, which is going to increase our debt.
We're talking about tax cuts for 48% of those tax cuts, even at the $1 million level, would come for small businesses that file their taxes as either individuals or families. And here's another problem. There's a marriage penalty in that. Why is that? If you're an individual, it's $200,000. If you're a family, it's $250,000. So you might as well get a divorce. Then you get a $400,000 exemption rather than a $250,000.
And what exactly happened? The Senate rejected President Obama's plan. What happens now? We have until the end of the year, don't we?
Well, we really need to get this done quickly because the tax tables are being published. The longer that they stay like this, families immediately, a family of four that have a $40,000 annual income will pay $271 new in taxes starting January. But look, I think everybody agrees that one thing that could happen, and the Democrats deep down know this is going to happen, is to go ahead and say a 2-year extension on all tax cuts and a permanent extension, a permanent, forever ending of the tax cuts for the tax increases for the middle class.
But if the Bush cuts stay in place, if they're made permanent, we're talking about a $680 billion price tag over 10 years. Now, how does whoever the president is, and it could be you, how does that person explain that price tag to the American people?
Much easier than explains the $800 billion in stimulus money that was not supposed to let unemployment go up above 8, and it's now at 9.8 and continues to climb. That was where the money was wasted. Here's what we've got to remember about the so-called tax cuts. It's not a tax cut. It's an extension of leaving the tax rates what they already are. One thing I would argue is that if businesses knew small businesses, big businesses, that their taxes weren't going to go up, you would see increase in economic activity, and that's desperately needed.
I don't think that that's necessarily the case. I mean, there's a lot of economists who have said this whole small business theory about it is false, right? I mean, most small business owners that I've talked to, you know, they take deductions. They don't even often pay taxes. What this is really
about... I don't know anyone like that.
Well, what this is really about...
I really don't, and I talk to them all. I am a small business owner, in fact.
I do. But
and I pay through the kazootie.
But, Governor, what this is really about is consumer confidence, right? You know, businesses aren't hiring, you know, they're not purchasing, you know, new equipment because Americans aren't consuming in the same way they were. And even the rich, they're balancing their balance books just as much as the middle-class Americans are. What's upsetting to me about what's happened, you know, in the past couple of weeks is that the Republicans have held the middle-class tax cuts as hostage. And I think that's wrong. It's a type of politics that Americans are just sick and tired of.
Can't we at least make a distinction between...
I'll let you have a final word here, Jamie.
A final question. Can't we at least make a distinction between small business and the rich Americans who make $1 million a year, or say $500,000 a year? Can't there be a distinction between those?
You could, but I would just argue this. Why do we think it's the government's money? How much money should we tax people? What is the rate that's magic? Right now we're taxing them right at 35. What do we make it? 50, 60, 70? What is the magic rate? And here's my final word, because we got to go. I give the signal now.
And it is your show.
It is my show, by golly. But the final thought is, if people that are the billionaires who say we want to pay more taxes, let them write a check. Let them write a check. When they do that, I'll believe they're really serious about it, because there's not a law in the books that prohibit them from writing a check to give whatever they want to make them feel better. Personally, I feel fine with the taxes I'm paying. I am paying more than my share. I will tell you what Arthur Godfrey said, and I love it. He said, I'm proud to be a tax-paying American, but I could be just as proud for half the money. I'm with Arthur Godfrey. Thank you very much, Jamie Reshma. Great to have you here.
Great
sports.